Star Trek Discovery is again proving to be the spiritual successor to Deep Space Nine. Wouldn't have had to do that in the first place and actually be good to be the spiritual successor to Deep Space Nine. No, this is just another one of those BS brainwashing cult members sort of indoctrination articles where they throw around, oh yes, have faith, trust us, and they sprinkle this throughout the article and throughout the series and throughout the season to get that in the back of your mind, to get that like subliminally in your head so you trust them and you're like, oh yes, it's fine, it's good, it's going to line up to canon. It's going to be canon. It's going to be set in our canon universe. Like, no, it's not. Canon is different than Prime. We know that. Also, hello, everyone. I am Mecha Random 42, your favorite YouTube harpy. I used to be a huge Star Trek fan until Discovery came along. There's a trigger warning if you are a huge Discovery fan, because I am deservingly so brutal to Discovery, right? Oh, this comes from comicbook.com today. Which, as we know, is owned by CBS. This is the propaganda arm of CBS. I believe it was Bleeding Fool or Bleeding Cool. It was one of those article sites that actually did show the ownership of comicbook.com by CBS. So, once again, Star Trek Discovery is proving to be the spiritual successor to Deep Space Nine. How did it do it in the first place? You can't just say that. During Discovery's first season, we noted that its exploration of a Starfleet wartime was an echo of Deep Space Nine's Dominion War. No. It was a blatant way to kind of name drop the Dominion War. It was cute that you think it was as good as the no. That Klingon War arc, nothing to do with Star Trek. They're flying around on basically magic mushrooms. I'm not making that up. Magic mushrooms that they stole from a guy's video game, right? Or at least the tardigrade controller. Yeah, they're I feel like I'm trying to explain this. Like, I'm trying to explain what Star Trek Discovery is to somebody who's never seen it. And it's like, okay, take everything you know about Star Trek and kind of just throw in the little references and name drops, but without any of the actual substance and creativity. It's like what a dumb person would write as a parody of Star Trek, or like a fanfiction, self-insert fanfiction of Star Trek, without really having the intellectual capacity to know what they're talking about. So, no, you failed there, so it's not, so we can take away the once again, no, completely disproven. Any fan who kept up with interviews ahead of Discovery Season 2 return may have gotten the sense that this would be the case. Showrunner Alex Kurtzman, oh no, see, we gotta get my and bell. Where's my soundboard? If we're doing a Kurtzman interview, every time he says and, we're gonna have the and bell, and I don't have it on. Oh, there we go. There's my and bell. Discovery showrunner Alex Kurtzman said many times, I gotta click this. I really have to click this because it's Kurtzman, right? It's Kurtzman, and I love his interviews because they're so bad. We've already talked about this. Logic and Emotion have failed Spock in Season 2. Oh, Lord. Go back to January if you want my video reaction to that article, because I know I've done that article. The season would explore the tension between faith and reason. That's not... Okay, is it faith in religion, or is it just belief in something and trust? Because those are two completely different things. So far, we've seen more of the word trust instead of, like, the religious faith. And that is one of the biggest problems in this show, is that it constantly gets things wrong. Faith is one of those terms that you tend to use in a religious context, right? Not in, oh, have trust in me, I know what I'm talking about. Have faith in us. Yeah, it just breaks my brain with how bad the show is. This exploration would form Spock's internal struggles and relationship with Michael Burnham. Who cares? It's a BS character. It's a total bullshit character. The parallels between Deep Space Nine and Discovery were on full display in New Eden, the second episode of Discovery's sophomore season. Oh, wasn't that was the one where it was like halfway decent? It was like a 6 out of 10 for Discovery or something, and I was like, really, really remarkable for that's as high as they can get. Yeah, 6 out of 10 is probably about as low as Star Trek The Next Generation or even Deep Space Nine got. So the fact that you made an episode that was as good as the worst season 1 or 2 episode of every other Star Trek series is, you know what, good for you. Good for you, Star Trek. One day you'll grow up and be a real Star Trek series. I don't think you'll survive. I think the series will be canceled long before you have that opportunity, because it would take thousands and thousands of years to reach that level of season 1 and 2 of Deep Space Nine, TNG, TOS, any of the other shows, Voyager. So no. and New Eden was immediately followed by the worst episode I've ever seen. Anytime the Klingons are on screen, it is the worst garbage on Star Trek now, because they do the most ridiculous things. They have time crystals. I had to rant about this morning. The Klingons, the warlike Klingon Empire, who are out there searching for power, weapons, technology. They want power in the galaxy. They want to be the main species, the main race out there. Oh, we have a planet in our own backyard that's filled with time crystals where we can just time travel and reset the universe. Oh no, that's too powerful for Klingons. Are you fucking kidding me? It's too powerful for Klingons? No, that was too powerful. That was too powerful. We learned the ways. We learned the error of our ways, and we do not use the time crystal because Kalish. Oh, fucking Christ. I hate Discovery so much with a passion. It's just not a good series. It's just not a good series. Second episode of Discovery's sophomore season, blah, blah, blah. In said episode, Discovery continues its mission to investigate the mysterious red signals that appeared across the galaxy. This led to a colony of humans who skirted annihilation at an onset of World War III. At the onset, while being there, they call the Red Angel, took them to another planet, which is dumb. Michael Burnham disagrees with Captain Pike on how they should refer to this entity. Pike's convinced of the being's benevolence, it starts referring to it as Red Angel. Burnham is reluctant. Okay, but we all know, spoilers, it's Michael Burnham's mother. So no, again, April 8th, this just came out today. All right, so we know it's Michael Burnham's mother. Stop throwing around this whole faith stuff and spiritual crap. We already know, according to a whole bunch of other articles, that they've had to remove the faith-based stuff in the show, right? They've had to remove the faith-based aspects in Christopher Pike because it was too religious for Star Trek. Because Star Trek isn't about that. Star Trek has always been more philosophical and sociological and scientific, and you know, it kind of treats religion as, oh, well, that's a cute concept that people used to believe in a lot of ways, and it does. So we know that this is garbage. Sorry for the cut. I had to go and pull up a few articles here. So this is just a rehash of everything else that they've been kind of spoon-feeding us with the whole, oh yes, we have these devout people, blah, blah, blah. This is exactly the same stuff that they were releasing. This is the exact same sort of article that they were releasing from Hollywood Reporter in January. And I know I've talked about this article. How Star Trek brought faith into the franchise, right? But here's the funny thing. Here's where it gets good. The Mary Sue, do you remember them? The hate group, the Mary Sue, who tends to have a lot of these anti-white male, anti-heterosexual people sort of articles, anti-women with any opinion different than their own. Star Trek Discovery is getting spiritual, but it's no Deep Space Nine. So yeah, they keep trying to throw in this narrative of, you know, it is, oh, it's good to be like Deep Space Nine, and it's good. See, it's really good by this, because look, we're doing what they did in Deep Space Nine, and you guys love Deep Space Nine. But that's not good enough. You guys have to do better than something we've already seen. It's already good, right? You're trying to emulate something that we already have. And you're doing just a terrible job at it, you know? Not only are you doing a terrible job at it, you're confusing the word faith with trust in so many occurrences. Just as they confuse the scientific terminology. I just had to do a quick rant about this article, because I am tired of I'm reading like the same articles over and over and over again. Especially when they keep flip-flopping. You know, you've got one says, oh, yes, it is. One says, no, it's not. And granted, the Mary Sue, who should be their exact target audience, even says, no, it's no Deep Space Nine. You know? I'm holding out hope that Star Trek Discovery is in for a stronger season this year than the first, which was uneven. The cast and creatives have expressed this season will have more of a classic Trek feel, which it hasn't. We're already, 12 episodes in? No, it hasn't. By which I assume they mean more episodes like last week's New Eden and fewer that rely on an intergalactic war. See, this was when they were out there just sucking their own dicks over how good New Eden was. And even the Discovery critics, the actual people who actually criticized Discovery, I think we all gave it, a fairly positive-ish review for a Discovery episode, meaning it's about as good as the worst of TNG, in my opinion anyway. And the fact that they just keep throwing out this narrative is kind of insulting, that so many people are just going to not remember that this is the exact same narrative that they've been pushing, and they were so quick to pat each other on the back for this one episode that was not terrible. And I believe that was the episode. Oh no, that was the episode right after the free one landed on YouTube from CBS themselves. They uploaded their own episode. But immediately the week after, it went from the best episode of Discovery to the worst episode of Discovery. So I'm kind of curious, because the last episode wasn't the worst. It was really stupid with the time crystals and Captain Pike seeing himself in the wheelchair that we already knew and getting just a stupid accident and just ripping off everything from Wrath of Khan to The Empire Strikes Back in that episode. I'm scared about what we're getting next week or in a few days here for this new upcoming episode 13. I've heard that it is going to be based on the first short trek, which I believe was Tilly's runaway episode, which was so bad they ruined Tilly. A character I actually liked in season 1, and they made her into one of the most despicable idiot people on Star Trek. Oh, Lord, I'm just at a loss for words now. So I just wanted to kind of take an opportunity to point out this type of stuff that they do in these articles. And do you guys notice that they keep recycling the same article and narrative over and over again? Because I certainly do. And this is how I'm so quick to kind of pick out and say, oh, you're a marketing account, or you're somebody on the CBS or whatever marketing firm or Parrot Analytics firm they hired. You're on their payroll because you're saying the exact same talking points. You're saying, oh, it's like Deep Space Nine with the faith and the prophets and the spiritual aspect. They like to kind of push these narratives. Same thing with, oh, the first season was bad of TNG. No, it wasn't. If you really think the first season of TNG was bad, then maybe you're not a Star Trek fan. And that's okay to not like Star Trek. But to sit around and say that Discovery is anywhere near as good as anything we got prior to even Enterprise. I mean, even Enterprise had its moments, right? You just cannot sit there and tell me with a straight face that it's as good as anything we got in TNG. It's not. And there's nothing wrong if you do like it. I just have to speak out against it, because every time I'm silent, every time in the past I've been silent about something, the next installment gets worse. I just turned off Enterprise when it was airing because it wasn't that good. It wasn't holding my interest. Little did I know that if I had spoken out back then, maybe if I had gotten on message boards or something, started blogs, something, then maybe we could have had good Star Trek now, and we could have done something to stop it. Anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. I am MechaRandom42. I will see you guys on the next video or live stream. Bye! Thanks for watching! If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!